When we look at the business cycle, we tend to focus on the US. It's historically been a source of recessions, and it's one of the more reliable signals out there. And the signal we're getting right now is late cycle. I should say we've had that signal for quite some time, so it's not a brand new one. But when we look very carefully at some of the metrics that point in that direction, if anything, their voices are growing louder as opposed to softer, if that makes sense. And so, for instance, looking at the economy, we can see the US economy, indeed the global economy, getting ever tighter with lower unemployment rates and these sorts of things, which are very much a sign of success, but nevertheless tell you there's a limit to how much more good news can come down the pipe before eventually it starts to go into reverse. We look similarly when gauging the business cycle at the yield curve, and a flattening yield curve historically is a signal that the cycle is coming to an end and perhaps that recession risks are growing. And we've very much seen these yield curves flattening and not that far in some cases from inverting. And so a number of different things are stacking up, not to mention chronological considerations. This has now been a decade of expansion, which is quite unusual, and they are arguing for late cycle. Now, that is distinct from end of cycle. End of cycle would mean things are actively going pear-shaped, and we're not seeing too many factors making that claim right now. But equally, a year ago, I would have acknowledged that while late cycle was also the best guess, mid-cycle was giving it a pretty good run for its money, and that's actually no longer the case. The counter-argument for mid-cycle has weakened quite a lot. The counter-argument for end-of-cycle is strengthening. Late cycle is still our best guess, but you can see how things are gradually moving forward along that axis. And I guess in the end, the way we respond to late cycle is usually just to take a little bit less risk. Late cycle is not a prophecy of doom. It's not a prediction that stocks go down over the next year, but it maybe is a statement that there are risks out there that are bigger than usual. Now is not the time for extreme risk taking, and so it's one of the reasons why we're fairly close to home in our investing and only a little bit overweight stocks as opposed to substantially overweight.